Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by a very special guest, current college goaltender with the University of Illinois Fighting Illini and the ACHA, Nolan Woodring. Nolan is from Downers Grove, Illinois, outside of Chicago. He grew up playing his youth hockey in Illinois, and then he played junior hockey with the USPHL Premier's New Jersey Rockets and the Jersey Hitmen before attending the last couple years at ACHA's University of Illinois Fighting Illini. So I'm really excited to dive into your career, just going from youth to juniors to college. And like I also want to get into like a lot of other like mindset stuff as well, because like very important as a goaltender to have success. So I'm very excited to have you on, Nolan. So welcome to the show, Nolan Woodring.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jack. Happy to be here and appreciate you reaching out just to have me on and excited to talk about some of the mindset stuff as well and just experiences and how it's kind of gone into my career so far and what I'm going to do after the career with it. Hopefully end up helping some other athletes with it along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And like there's a lot to take away with how to be like a successful goaltender at the junior level, the college level, and then even like as you go above and go to the pro route, like there's a lot of different things. And like I think one of those most important like aspects that kind of get like neglected just a couple times is that mindset. So like
Mm.
obviously you're playing college hockey right now for the last couple of years. So like how has that mindset shifted from like when you're growing up starting goalie and then like as you go up the levels and like your mindset?
I'd say right now my mindset, I was thinking about it. We had two games this weekend and I played pretty well in them and I'd say it was contributed to my mindset. My mechanics have kind of been the same and everything, just kind of reactionary there, but one thing that I've picked up along the way is like just understanding that like you get a chance to like see what happens out there. It's not going to be I'm going to go out there and if we win or lose, if I play a bad game, like you have control of making sure like focus on the process, focus on getting a good warm up in, focus on getting your eyes ready, knowing the opportunities that are going to come from the game, reading the plays, but just trusting your practice in that aspect too. So one thing I had this weekend was just knowing like I'm going to do everything I can, everything in my control. I'm going to go play, and it worked out pretty well for us. So I feel like in juniors and AAA and stuff like that, I kind of was just like, oh, I hope it goes well for me out there. I hope I play well, but just being able to take ownership and take control of that was one of the big things that I feel like has made the biggest difference.
Yeah, you usually I like to go like give your background and then go to like your youth hockey, juniors and college, but like I think the mindset part to be
Mhm.
successful is super important. So I just wanted to start with that and like you said, like you have like you have all the resources to control like your mind and like your thoughts that are going in your mind. Like yeah, like negative thoughts are going to come up, but you have to be able to like put
Mhm.
those away right away because like that'll derail your game right away. So like what are some of the different things that you do to help control what you're thinking about? Like how do you like what's like that routine that you go through like on a game day?
So on a game day routine's pretty similar, but I kind of would say it's all kind of just through my life following it, like with different things. I remember reading an article from Colin Delia, like it was an interview with Colin Delia when he was on the Hawks. So it was just talking about like stacking papers, like working on that 1% every day, working on getting a little bit better here and there. And for me, that 1% would be like listening to a podcast. One thing I can contribute it to is the stoicism aspect of it. Like we don't control what happens to our lives or in our lives, but we control how we react to it.
Yeah.
So that's something that I like to bring into goaltending because obviously we're thrown with a bunch of different scenarios, whether it's a power play, penalty kill, or stuff like that, breakaway. You just got to react the best way possible. But going back to your question, specifically on game days, I like to just go through, get my body warm. Had a couple injuries, so I know when I'm cold, I feel a lot worse. And
Yeah.
good process on the ice. My teammates warm me up really well. Got Atticus shooting on me every game. Had Joe Dorian earlier in the year, but like a little superstitious kind of here and there, but also just kind of like to just have the same routine, something that I can rely on. So same on ice warm up, same off ice warm up. Like to play a little bit of sewer with the guys, lead the team line for warm up, but also just put my headphones on. Music kind of changes here and there, but used to listen to a lot of like harder EDM stuff, get me pumped up. But right now I'm listening to more like chill folk, Noah Khan stuff like that, just to relax. And like I find if I'm repeating like lyrics in my head when I'm just like chilling on the ice, I'm more calm,
Yeah.
able to stay like obviously you don't want to be singing a full song in your head, but like just little catchy lines here and there help me just relax. But all that kind of adds up, like I said before. Doing a lot of hand-eye stuff, breath work, focusing on nose breathing, a lot of random things I've picked up over the years, but it's all coming together now, and I feel like I'm playing some really good hockey.
Yeah, and like that's probably like going off like consistency, like you're being consistent with your routine, like yeah, like super like you have some superstitious stuff, but like it's like consistent, you're doing it every time, so like you're having that consistency and like consistency breeds success at the end of the day. So if you keep doing it, you're gonna get that. You're gonna go into the day or the game, practice, whatever it is, feeling like you're ready to go right from the hop, and you're able to get going right away and just to build that build the bricks up one by one and get 1% better every day.
Yeah, and I feel like if you don't really have consistency, you're doing a bunch of random stuff. If you have a great game, you could be like, "Oh, I want to try and do what I did," but like maybe you don't remember specifically what it was. Maybe you changed something, then you're like, I want to make these small adjustments here and there, but you can't pinpoint what it is. So that's like why I just kind of have the same routine over and over. If I feel like something's not working, I can kind of try and identify where it is. But one more thing I forgot to add in there is like just kind of getting in the right mindset too. So something I learned from like my mental performance, I picked up a coaching certification. So I write on my stick, like redo my knob, just like write the same things over and over. So write 33, smiley face, just enjoy the game, have fun. BFS, which is body language, focus, and self-talk. So those are all three things that you're able to control. What's your best body language? What's the main thing you want to focus on? And what's the ideal self-talk you want to have? Another thing from Stoicism is AF. I write amor fati. It's like just love fate. Got on the back of my helmet too. And then one thing that I kind of have come up with just through my own mindset is like the day one mentality, just going through every day. Like you haven't earned anything today. You maybe did something cool yesterday. Maybe it was terrible yesterday, but there are going to be people in this building that's never seen you play. Just show them who you are and kind of prove yourself. Make sure you prove yourself to your teammates over and over and just go through it like it's day one.
Yeah, and like I like how you said like the body language, like focus and the self-talk, because like those are super important. Like if you project bad body language, like everyone's gonna know about it. But
Hmm.
if you have a calm body language and like you give up a goal, give up two goals, like and like you're not affected by it, like everyone's gonna your teammates is gonna believe in you, and like they're gonna be like, yeah, that like Nolan's got it, like so it's not gonna like derail the team. And then same thing with like folks on like I usually like to go into practice with like three things at like the back of my mind just to like focus on
Hmm.
like whether it be like holding my edges, staying patient, uh reading the release, like all the rebounds into the corner, like stuff like that. Like just having like the back like you're obviously not like dialed in on like and like that's distracting you from practice from being in the
Hmm.
moment. But like you have those in the back of your mind to know that oh this is what like I want to work on the day and then positive self-talk. Like I just go through games like one shot, one save, because at the end of the day, that's all it is. Like the next shot's
Hmm.
coming and your job is to make that save.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if the score is 10-0 you or you're losing 10-0. You want to make sure you stop that next puck. Doesn't even matter. It's just one thing over and over, what's repeatable, and just got to keep it going.
Yeah, exactly. And like you of course you're gonna have some of those times where it's like give up two quick ones. Like a couple weeks ago, like in we were playing the team that were 1 point ahead in the standings and like give up two quick goals on the breakaway, like a breakaway and then a 2-on-0. And like 3 minutes in the game, you're like two shots, two goals. But like I was like the worst possible scenario that could have happened right now. Like you still have 58 minutes left in the game
Hmm.
to decide how the game's gonna go. So just forget about it. Like you can't change it now. Just be in the
Hmm.
moment. One shot, one save, and the next thing you know, where we win the game in overtime. So like it could have easily derailed my game, but you just gotta have that quick mindset to shut the bad stuff out and think about all the positive stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I want to dive into like your career now, like outside of like the mindset. So like you grew up in Downers Grove. So like what was hockey like for you growing up? Like I know you played TI as in AAA and I believe the Blues as well. So like
Hmm.
what what was it like going through those organizations and just really diving into having fun with the game?
So, like we kind of talked about before, start recording, but like I started playing as a player. Me and my brother started skating at the Downers Grove Ice Arena when I was 5, he was
That's a
4.
cold rink.
That's a very cold rink. It's a very old rink. Thankfully, it just reopened, which is awesome. But I remember like we were wearing bike helmets on the ice, I think, and my dad was the only one that like played hockey. My mom had no idea like about hockey or anything. Now she knows everything about hockey with 3 sons going through it and everything we've been through. But um, yeah, so started at the Downs Grove Ice Arena, learned just how to skate, basics there. Don't really remember anything crazy there. Remember going to the Sabres, working with Chris Chelios, not Chris Chelios like Jersey retired in
Yeah.
the United Center, but Chris Chelios, his cousin, same name, but great guy at all seasons. And I remember one time like I didn't know how to stop, so like it took me forever. Everyone like we're just doing the basics, learning how to stop wearing hockey gear and like instead of just a bike helmet or something like that. And he's like, "All right, if you can convince your mom to let you miss school on Monday, we're gonna have the ice all day. We're gonna learn to stop, and if you learn to stop, you'll have free slushies for life." My mom didn't let that fly, unfortunately, but I did end up learning how to stop. So that was really fun. But just love going through it. Love having like friends, family around. Obviously, my brother was great, but moving into being a goalie, it all started when I was at the Sabres and we were going into a state playoff game, and our goalie was like throwing up in the locker room. And they were like, we need someone. And during that year, I just like kind of started doing some random goalie clinics here and there. My dad bought me an old set of pads, so I was wearing like these old Cohos when like my goalie partners got like the Bowers and like these are insane. So I put his pads on, played the full game. We ended up winning in overtime, and I was just like getting praised for like doing pretty well, and just was a feeling I've been like chasing ever since. Obviously, I've had a few times like overtime wins, shootout wins are amazing, but just that feeling kept me coming back. So that spring, I actually was able to like switch off goalie and forward back and forth. So that was fun. And then made the decision. Like I was so torn all summer. I was like, I don't know what to do because my dad already bought me these sick, I think it was like Reflex 8 Bauer pads. So I was like, I feel like I gotta play goalie. So I'm playing goalie. Made the decision. Very happy I did.
Yeah.
I always joke saying like I don't know why I did it because it's like fun to score goals. Like goalie
Yeah.
just make a
I
save.
think
But
we're all like that.
yeah, no, I love it though. I love having the pressure. I love being able to have that much of an impact on the game. So that was fun. So that was Sabres. I like was on the double A team, moved down to the like A3 team and had a great coach there. Coach Lency, he really helped me. He had a goalie son as well. So he was really great with like being patient. I remember the first game I played like that, or one of the first games I played that season, we got shelled like 12-0 and he left me in the entire time. We were playing like Honey Bakes Triple A. Like I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
'Cause I've never seen a score that high, even like when I was a player. So I was like, okay, guess I'm a goalie now. This is awesome. But just growing with that, bunch of different experiences, being on some bad teams at the Sabres where I'd get 50, 60 shots a game. It's where I feel like I really grew the most.
Yeah.
Going to the Blues was on a really good U16 team there when I was 15. I think we lost 5 games all year, 2 to the same team. We lost in nationals, but like learning how to play with a lead there, learning how to play when you're not seeing as much action was really fun. Um, then moving into TI, a lot of fun there too, a lot of good teammates, a lot of cool experiences, just being able to see, excuse me, just being able to go to like different places, really compete. Looking back on the rosters now, I think my U16 year there played against like Vlasic and some other like NHL draft picks. I'm like, all right, this is pretty funny to see now. Like they're doing all this. I'm having grand old time here at U of I, but really like the AAA like mindset where you like work out at the rink, get on the ice, and just be able to put more into it. So that's kind of why I ended up going to juniors and everything like that and putting as much as I did into it.
Yeah, and like I like how like even though you're facing 50, 60 shots, like you're still looking at like a good like a positive thing and like you're
I
growing.
definitely didn't when I was playing though. I
Yeah.
remember
Like
like
looking back now, like you're like
yeah.
I'm actually like glad that that happened because like it really does help you like develop
Hmm.
at a quicker rate and like it helps you like really like grow up as well because you're not getting those 20 shot at games like
Hmm.
you have to be dialed right from the start.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my like number one piece of advice. Like I've been around a couple like goalie camps here and there. Like if your kid's getting shelled, like just leave him in there. He'll figure it out. Make sure you review it. Like don't lose the opportunity of like going over goals, like seeing all the different scenarios. Like you got to see everything as an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, like every game is a learning experience. Like
Hmm.
in my book is like doesn't matter if you win or lose. Like there's stuff you can take away from
Hmm.
the game no matter what. And like I don't say that like you lose games, like you learn from those games.
Hmm. Exactly. You lose games, like, yeah, you don't want to lose like the competitive, like, oh, it sucks. And like, you
Yeah,
want to win every game, but like, you want to enjoy, like, the day after, you want to be able to look back and be like, all right, it sucked, but
yeah,
I can work on this, this, and this. And thanks to this game, I was able to understand that.
yeah. So I had 24-hour like timetable, like from the end of the game to like when you can like look at it like a whole new aspect to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, usually it's like cools down after because I've like understood that for a while now, but it's still like 30 minutes after, I don't want to talk about it. I'll be pissed. So,
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm the same way.
yeah.
But like then you move on from like going from the Blues and like in Double A, and then you go into Triple A
Hmm.
with TI. So like, how much did you grow from that experience? Like you said, like you're working out at the rink, then skating, and like how much did it really like help improve your game?
It helped a good amount. Me and my goalie partner there were switching off. I think it was about 50-50 stars wise, but we were playing really good competition. Like Mission was really good. I think we beat them once in the shootout, like with the kids like Vlasic and stuff like that. So that was good, but also just learning from, again, hard times there. All the travel, so that kind of prepares you for juniors, prepares you for college, like how to get acclimated there. Obviously, it's a little different when you're doing it with your parents and stuff like that, where they're buying you dinner instead of figuring it out on your own. But it's a good way for the kids to get involved in it and just enjoy time with your teammates. Really liked like being able to have a gym too, just right in the. So I was at TI when they were at Seven Bridges
Yeah,
instead of my brother started there and they were in West Dundee, which would not want to be there. That was a
departure, to
crazy
be
drive, and
honest.
God bless my parents for driving them there every day. I mean, it worked out now with him at West Point, but it's just nice to be able to get off the ice, get on the ice early sometimes, go out there, stretch, and just have like feel like you have all these resources, like they're investing in you. Obviously, my parents were the main proponents of that. Like they were investing in us with their time, their money, their weekends, everything they had, they put into our hockey careers, which I'm extremely grateful for. And just as it comes to an end now, it's like crazy how much time they put into it and how much I didn't appreciate at the time, but now I just want to make sure like they know how much I appreciate it. But having those goalie coaches and having the off ice trainer, having the practices run with like a specific schedule and just being able to have like so many resources where it's put into you and you feel like you can go out and compete really well on the weekends.
Yeah, and like you're seeing good competition, like Michigan, you
Hmm.
said, like you're going to Michigan, you're going to like Minnesota, like places like that where like
Hmm.
it's like legit hockey and you see the difference between like what's good hockey and then like what's like the next step above and like it gets
Hmm.
you ready for like the next level like juniors like you talked about as well.
Yeah, I remember one time it was my 18s year. We went to Blaine, Minnesota, like the super rink, and just be able to see like the Null players there and just like, whoa. Like when I think it was, no, I was 18 at the time because I missed 1 year with TI just because I had hip surgery. But be able to see like that's the next level. Like, oh, I want to be here. I love seeing the speed. I love this. It's fun. And unfortunately didn't get there, but tried my best.
Yeah. Hey, you tried your best and like you you did go on to juniors and you played college after, so
Hmm.
it's in the right direction. So like that's all you can ask for in your career.
Hmm.
Yeah, but like you said, like you had hip surgery like that before that 18 years. So like what like that's obviously a huge piece of adversity in your career. So like what was going through that whole process like and just being able to like come up on top and come up better, even though I'm sure it's mentally where it wore mentally on you.
Yeah, it was tough understanding that. But like I was going into so finished my U16 year at TI. I just like hit pain here and there like in the spring. So I took some time off, took about a month off from skating, and then went to Sioux City, like just goalie camp down in St. Louis. My grandpa drove me down there and was working with goalie coaches there. Was just like, all right, this is pretty good. Didn't make like their main camp cut, which happens. I was still pretty young, so still working through it. But then after that camp, I was like, I don't know. It still hurts after the month of rest. Like I want to be in good shape for this. I felt like I was in okay shape, but I still want to get it looked at. So did PT all summer. Didn't end up helping. Got an MRI, which getting an MRI for like a labral tear. they have to inject a dye in you, and that was the worst pain of my entire life. Like them just putting a needle that deep into my skin, and I was like,
Yeah.
it was crazy. Anyways, just
It
going through
just
that,
pulses
but
too with the like the dye and everything just pulses.
yeah, it's so weird. And I was like, I probably looked like a psychopath because I was laughing when because it was just such a strange pain.
Yeah.
But um, where was I? But yeah, going like I got the news like after the team was already picked for TI, so they thankfully found another goalie, so we weren't on the books for that. But
Yeah.
just like great group of guys. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to like join them for like Boston trips and stuff like that, but was still around the team, was able to skate with them towards the end of the year. And just sucked, but again, tried to turn like adversity into my advantage there. So took some time off, but then I was able to work into doing swim team at Downers North as well. So that was one thing that kept me in shape. And I understand myself and I need to be competitive in some aspect
Yeah.
at like any point in my life. I had another
Hard
injury
not
last
being
year and
competitive like at when you're between seasons or like you're hurt, it's hard not to be competitive with anything.
yeah, I need something. Like it
Yeah.
just gets the juices going and like yeah, compete against yourself is good, but like I was
Still.
competing in swimming and I wasn't able to do everything. Like I remember I wasn't able to like dive off the blocks at the beginning like because of impact and stuff, but just being able to push myself there was fun. So that was one thing like helped improve my cardio and stuff like that, which I feel like is a big advantage I have, like just be able to feel the same as I do at the end of the game as the beginning of the game. Obviously not the same, but
Yeah.
less of a drop off. But just kind of leaning back on learning there. I remember one of my dad's friends like, "Oh, so what are you gonna work on like during this time?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna read more." He's like, "Oh, okay, sounds good to me." And like, so I ended up actually reading a bit more, getting into philosophy, learning more about the mental game and stuff like that. So that was one thing that I think was good for me and just kind of a decision I made. I got into journaling a lot more, so I was able to reflect on myself and I think that's where I started like really build my mental game. And it didn't really show throughout juniors. I didn't have the greatest juniors career, but looking at it now, it's all the stuff that adds up. Again, just stacking papers has helped me get to where I am now.
Yeah, and like even just like having like those mental challenges, whether it be like you said, with just getting better, getting that 1% better every day, like what are you gonna do next to like like reading, like what are you gonna do next to like better help yourself like get mentally prepared for stuff and like you're just able to like have those challenges and then any competitive person will be like, yeah, like I want to overcome that. So like you're gonna overcome that.
Hmm.
And like it helps like build that how strong your mental game is and it just continues to build with each challenge.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. It just whether it's an off ice injury, whether it's just dealing with like getting over a slump, it's just going to be building that resume for yourself, having that inner belief that you're going to be able to overcome kind of anything. And that's where I'm at now. It's like there's been a lot of crap thrown at me. Obviously, I have a very good life and good situation, but I've dealt with different adversity here and there, and I'm confident in my ability to come over it, overcome all of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's huge. And then that leads you into after your 18 year to go on to juniors to play in the USPHL. So like what was the process like to find the Rockets?
So kind of riding the coattails of Barron somewhat. Like my dad was, I never had like an advisor. We kind of worked with a couple here and there. I know kids have advisors like so young now, and
Yeah,
it is what it is. It's not the greatest, but my dad was my biggest advocate. He was always reaching out, always looking for something. So my brother got tendered with the Rockets in like the end of our 18th year. We were able to play together there, which was really fun.
that's nice.
Just yeah, it was funny times. Like he was a captain of our team, which was cool, but. So he tendered with them. I went to their main camp and then ended up making the premier team. He was on the NCDC team. And I think I was like one goal away from like being like compared to a guy on the NCDC team. So it's
Yeah.
like that little percent again, just everything happens for a reason, but just being able to focus on the little details here and there. But was given the opportunity to play for the premier team. And this was our COVID, like COVID hit that March. So we were figuring out like I don't know how we're gonna play juniors, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But went to the Rockets main camp, was offered the premier position, ended up going there, got a billet with Barron. We were in a billet with three family members, mom, son, daughter, four dogs, and then five hockey players. So there's a lot of junior hockey billet
Yeah.
stories and stuff like that, but it's
I
just
bet.
crazy. Um, Then from there, it was a good experience. We were on a really good team at the Rockets. We were doing really well in Premier, but I don't know, we were just kind of missing something. Our coach ended up bringing four goalies at one point in the year, which wasn't the greatest. Obviously, I don't have a say in like how that decision's made, but I could have played better, so we didn't have four goalies, stuff like that. But I think if things changed, it could have worked out differently. So we ended up like at the top of the league, got upset in the first round of playoffs. And I was like, didn't love it there. Didn't have like a good relationship, like coach to player. My coach was a really nice guy. Like afterwards, talked to him, he helped me out, did a lot of great stuff. But when I was on his team, we didn't really mesh the best. I didn't play well to earn his respect and just it wasn't great. So moved to the Hitmen the following year. And that year was again interesting. Still somewhat dealing with COVID stuff. I remember we had a weekend of games canceled for a team having an outbreak. That year, my coach left the day of training camp. So like the coach that was like I signed with, like I was on the team with, he was gone like the day we got there. So we have this new guy coming in and we only had like 13 players total. So we're like, we're out here. I just moved into a townhome an hour away from the rink and now we're trying to figure out how to put together a team. And my coach Dom did a great job that year, kind of putting together, finding guys, and had a really good time there. We had four goalies at one point there as well, which again is unfortunate, but had great resources. The Hitmen did a good job. I was able to practice with the NCDC team as well, so got to see a lot of good shots there, a lot of good players. And funny enough, now one of the goalies I practiced with there is on Barron's team at West Point. So I don't know, like it was just kind of weird coincidence, but
Yeah.
getting those NCDC shots hour and a half at NCDC practice, hour and a half at Premier practice, then an hour in the gym. I'm spent. So it was good to kind of put everything into it there and just another time where I was just grinding. I was doing DoorDash like crazy trying to pay for my gas, but uh wouldn't change anything. It was a really fun experience.
Yeah, and like I'm sure with like getting the NCDC shots and you're getting the premier shots as well, like you're developing more at the junior level and even at the next level because you're seeing those shots every day with
Hmm.
CDC. So like you're able to like you're able to get like the reps in and like get obviously when you get reps in like your confidence goes up, your confidence improves and like your game overall like improves because you're confident in yourself and like once you're confident in yourself like you can go through like anything.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing that helped me develop that confidence was our goalie coach, Joakim Reimer. He was like one of the, I think, best goalies in the Dell. His nickname's Joker, but he was great. He was able to like kind of show perspectives on a bunch of different stuff. If I sent him video, he didn't hesitate to help us out with that and just was really nice with everything.
Yeah, so like what were some of the things that you learned throughout your junior career, like those 2 years that you took into like the next level as well?
One is just kind of developing my stance and being confident in that. Like I was always kind of looking for like, oh, what's the perfect stance? Like looking at goalies in the NHL, like this guy's got this, but you have to find what works for you. So you can't say, oh, I'm gonna have a stance like Corey Crawford, which would be crazy because of whatever that was.
Yeah.
But like you got Crawford, you got Hellebuck. If you try and be one of those, you can't be one of those because that's
Yeah.
who they are. You got to be able to find your own. So being able to develop that, be able to work on some smaller things like my tracking abilities. I worked a lot on like hand-eye stuff there and just kind of building my power, being in the gym a lot more. We didn't have a trainer at the Rockets. We did at the Hitmen, so the Hitmen trainer was really good with us, trying to get like past injuries. I partially tore my groin there and ended up like going through a good amount of rehab there, and they helped me get kind of back to that. So just building a good foundation for me to be able to compete and not have to worry about it. But once I found my stance, which kind of took a while, I feel like I was able to play really good hockey.
Yeah, and like everyone's stance is unique. Like I always hear kids like I want to be like Andrei Vasilevsky. I want to be like Igor Shesterkin, but it's like those two guys have completely different athletic abilities than you do. So like
Well, yeah, and you have to look at the athletic abilities and like
yeah,
their hips have to be so different too.
yeah.
Like if you
Uh-huh.
look at it physiologically, it's like Vasilevsky's hips, Shesterkin's hips, and the movement they get are something that's almost impossible to replicate. So you just need to be able to be the best goalie you can be instead of trying to be the next one of them, like the next Carey Price, the next Lundqvist,
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah, like you can take like bits and pieces from like guys of how like they play like whether you if you want to add like a flying poke check like Kochetkov does a lot like I do love the flying poke check but like
Oh yeah.
add like other some other things that other goalies do like you can add add a couple things, but like you're not basing your game off a certain goalie.
Yeah, no one's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah. So obviously you finished your 2 years of junior hockey. So like what were some of like your favorite memories from junior hockeys or like your favorite stories that you could tell on the podcast without getting
Yeah.
either of us in trouble?
Yeah, so that's the fine line we got to toe, but no, it's not bad. One thing that I liked to when I was at the Hitmen was just going through like I was just kind of unmotivated, like didn't get put in some games, was just riding the bench for a little bit. So ended up doing those mini game Mondays I did on YouTube. Not sure if you've seen any of them,
Yeah,
but
I've seen
just
those.
would end up like doing, yeah, so just messing around with my teammates, getting the competitive juices flowing again. Like when I can't sit and like compete through a game, like I just really enjoyed going through different like shootout challenges, rebound games, stuff like that. Like the rebound game and like I'd say as many shootouts as I did there contributes like my success in shootouts here because I just learn
Yeah.
about like all the releases. When I would have like games, or not games, when I'd have practice like go from Premiere and then go to NCDC and NCDC didn't have anything after. Like when they would just like want to shoot after, like I'd stay on the ice for 20, 30 minutes just taking breakaways from some of them. And it's just I love breakaways. It's fun. It's a undercover bag because you're just going up and down the entire time, like just flowing back and figuring it out. But just love breakaways. I don't think I actually had any like shootout games in juniors. Another funny story is at the Hitmen, like again, this is probably when I was going through like not playing, so it wasn't the happiest. And then me and one of my defensemen, like I wasn't happy, like got on the ice for warm-ups. He started shooting at me and like just shot me like in the side. So like where there wasn't any padding. So I shot a puck back at him, hit him in the collarbone. And then he like shot at my head later. So I was like, all right, we're 2 minutes into practice, get it figured out. We both dropped the gloves, went at it right before like some kids are still getting on the ice and we're just like picking our gloves up and helmets and we each got a couple good ones in there. So we just went to the trainer together. We're joking around. So that's another funny one. Trying to think about like off ice stuff. Didn't do any like team city trips, but just like all the road trips, like staying in the hotels, just like messing around with guys. It's just like the small things here and there, like just competing in random stuff in the gym, random stuff on the ice. It's just that's where I really find the most fun.
Yeah, it's those are all a lot of fun from the road trips to just messing with the guys, like being on the bus, like even though like we're talking about the 12-hour bus trips, like those are some of the like obviously it's a grind, but it's some of the best times 'cause you're just chilling with the boys and just having a good time. You never know like what topics of conversation is going to come up on those trips.
Yeah, it's always, especially with like such a wide variety of guys. Like you got some, for me, it was like you got the 01s about to age out, and then you got some 04s like just barely getting started in their junior career, and like just everyone's at a different point in life, and just wherever those conversations go, it's just so funny, like such a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Like, always a good time, but like then you do like the shootouts and everything like when you're taking 20, 30 minutes of shootout reps, like you're gonna get better. You're gonna know guys' releases, and then going into games,
Hmm.
like you're gonna be able to read the release better coming off like an opponent or like if they try like a move. I'm sure like your team's probably made that move 1,000 number of times before, so like
Yeah, it's like
you're
you
all
get those
dialed.
reps in, and like subconsciously you just like see the little like ticks here and there, like opening a blade here, like oh, it's obviously going to be this, but
Yeah,
obviously you're not thinking that during the shootout because once you start thinking, then you're beat.
yeah.
So it's just like kind of developing that just through the reps.
Yeah, exactly. Like, were you a rebound guy or three puck, or did you like the shootouts? Like, if you
Yeah,
could pick,
whatever they
you
wanted.
could pick.
They're like, you want to play a game? I'm like, yeah, anything. I don't care. Rebound. I think at the Hitmen, I would talk so much crap just because I didn't like get beat and rebound for a while. I
Yeah,
would just like call, like be talking the entire time. And it's just like once you start talking, you call guys out and then they start to like go after each other and it starts to implode. And it's just little fun mental games there.
you just get in their heads, and like once you get in their heads, like,
Exactly.
they're done. Like you already
Yeah,
have,
exactly. Then they're
you
like,
already have the
oh,
win.
you should have passed it. Like, you should have, no, you should have shot. It's like, start thinking it's gonna not pay off too well.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna be the one winning after you get in guys' heads like that.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah, but like you talked about like you got really into like journaling like throughout like throughout like your end of like your 18 year in your junior hockey career, like would you like journal about like practice or anything, or like would you like reflect on your practice throughout your junior and your games throughout your junior career?
Yeah, so reflecting on games was a big one. Practice was more something I would just kind of go through in my own head, never really put it to paper, but putting it to paper is definitely going to have more of an advantage. So going through the games, kind of recapping goal by goal, if there were like any things that I think stood out as bad, I always had the GoPro behind the net, so that was a good thing for me to kind of look through as well. Seeing like once you like see it, like you'll see what happened in the play, and then it'll kind of like jog your memory on like what thoughts you had at the time. Like, oh,
Yeah,
if I blew an edge here, or like if I felt off angle, maybe I made a save, but it's not the best save. So as a goalie, you got to find those little percentages of where you can make a extra save here, or just maybe make a little bit of a different play. But difference between the like good and great goalies in the NHL is probably like 0.5%. So
yeah. Just cleaning the little things up, just
yeah, exactly. And
the
putting it
small
to paper
details.
kind of putting it to paper really helps like kind of clear up your thoughts and slow down your thoughts. Because I don't know about you, but for me, it's like if I get going, it's like a million miles a minute. Like I
Yeah.
just
Uh-huh.
my hands can't keep up with it, which is good because then I get to like actually reflect on it and slow it down, see this is what I was thinking there, and just kind of go through that. And another like journaling practice I had was just like focusing on gratitude, like being more grateful for the things because so many people I see just get like caught up in like the negatives of life. But if you're able to like do it either every morning or just every afternoon, just pick three things you're grateful for. It's kind of going to get your mind in the right place. And I
Yeah.
think there's so many different studies, like little human lab stuff like that, where it's like the different like physiological changes in your brain when you actually focus on the positives opposed to the negatives.
Yeah, and you're playing the best sport in the world, so you gotta be blessed
Yeah,
and grateful for that.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
not everyone can play that game at that level.
Yeah. Or at your age, like I'm
Yeah.
right now after taking X amount of gap years, I got buddies working jobs that they like, but they don't love like every moment. And I'm just
Yeah.
appreciative of every moment I have on the ice with my team here.
Yeah, exactly. So you after juniors you move on to college. So like what made you pick University of Illinois to be your school and play hockey there?
So it started in after the Rockets. I thought I was actually going to end up going to, excuse me, a school called Newman in PA,
Yeah.
or yeah, in PA, like just outside of Philadelphia, but wasn't sure, like was kind of him and Han if I was going to go there. Talking with the coach, they were looking for a goalie like kind of quick, and I thought they offered the position like right when we st first talked. So I was like thinking about it for a couple of days. And I was like, all right, I got accepted. I submitted everything. I was going to go there. I thought like I made the decision to go there. But then he was like, all right, I'll let you know. I'm like, wait, I thought it was someone else. Thankfully, they did because if I ended up there, I don't think I would have been as happy as I am here.
Yeah.
My coach at the Hitmen, not Rockets, put me in touch with the coach at Roosevelt University, just in Bensonville there, used to be Robert Morris. So Billy Carr there. I went there, skated with them over winter break, and then skated with DePaul as well because my coach had a connection there. So just trying to see like what the Acho was all about and just kind of had fun there. The Roosevelt coach was great. Billy really helped me out, and I was interested in coming down here, just check it out, see what it was about. My mom used to go to school here, and I knew they were doing really well, really competitive team. They were at nationals, like when I was starting to come down here too. So Billy was able to get in touch with Nick Fabrini down here, showed me around the rink, showed me around the campus, and I was like, this is pretty fun. I'm like, I don't know, I wasn't the greatest in high school. If I get in, I get in. We'll see what happens. So ended up getting in and chose it. I was like, why not? It was big school. Didn't think I'd want a big school, but after 3 years here, I really like having a big school.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a lot of fun. Like there's something to do every single day, no matter where you are.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And the program I'm in is great too. It's not a big program, but the physical education program here is
Yeah.
really good. The close-knit group, like everyone's in the same classes over and over, so you get to know each other really well. Some of my best friends are in the same major as me, besides my hockey teammates, but it's just all worked out really well.
Yeah, that's good. And like so then you go into your first year and you get in 12 games throughout that first year. So like what was it like hopping right into the season, like getting a couple starts right away?
Yeah, so it was great. I knew there would be an opportunity talking with Fabrini going into the year. However, Nick ended up leaving I think, a month before the season. So playing at the Hitmen, where my coach left the day of training camp, kind of prepared me for when we didn't have a coach going into tryouts here. So
Yeah.
that year was tough because we had a lot of kids that I think quit from the year before. They went to nationals, then they were kind of done with that coach, done with hockey, made that decision. So we lost a couple guys there and put together a team that wasn't the best, but it was a close-knit group of guys. We only had morning practices. We had Chad Castle, who won the national championships here. He came out of like retirement from coaching and really saved the program. So if it weren't for him, if it weren't for other guys on the team working on the exec board like Joe Dorian as well, we wouldn't probably have a team right now. So thankfully they were able to save it. We did AM practices, so we had to be at the rink at about 6:30 most days. Didn't have to be there, but I like to get there to warm up and stuff.
Yeah.
But on the ice at 7:15, 7:30, go straight from there to the dining hall, go from the dining hall to my next class, and it's just kind of a whirlwind from there. But it was a really fun experience, and like going with juniors and kind of going through that tight schedule really prepared me for that. So in my 12 games, I think my first win came second semester. So that was a tough thing to go through. But again, going through like those years at the Sabres where it wasn't getting a lot of wins, even TI some years like we would be on losing skids, but
Yeah.
just prepared me to like keep trusting the process, keep working on it, find fun in the little things here and there and just enjoy it. And then ended up getting that first one. Felt like monkey off the back finally. Just got something done there and it's gotten better every year I've been here.
Yeah, like once you get that monkey off the back, like that's when things really start to pick up, and because
Hmm.
you're not like tensing up or anything, and like being like, oh, like when am I gonna get my first win? Like once that happens, like you're able to just like it's like a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't like to say like I was on a drought or anything like that because
Yeah.
once you start saying you're in a drought, then it just kind of snowballs into bigger. But just played game by game. I had some good games in there, I had some bad games in there, but ended up getting a win second semester. So it took a while, but made you understand like you got to earn it. It's not going to be given to you here. So that's helped me the next last 2 years, just kind of focus on, even if you got a lead, just still stay focused.
Yeah. Is that like one of the biggest things you probably learned is just to stay focused, trust the process, especially like just getting in the fire of everything and getting your feet in the door of the Acha.
Yeah, especially like because it's crazy. You never know what's going to happen. We've had some crazy games, some comebacks. The highlight of my freshman year was our senior night. So we were supposed to be playing the Illinois State Division One team, but they ended up like double booking their playoffs. So we ended up playing their D2 team. So obviously we're D1, they're D2. We should win. We won, I think, handedly the first game. And then the second game we went down 3-0. Our senior night at home, sold out crowd, 3-0 in like the first half of the game. So I wasn't playing in the game. And then I went in relief for our my goalie partner there. And then we ended up coming back. It was 3-3 with 7 seconds left. And then we win a face-off, puck goes, or we lose the face-off, puck goes to the corner, squirts out. We get a pass from our one of our assistant captains now, Sasha, passes it to the one senior on, or one of the two seniors on the team. He nets it for a like buzzer beater win. Just crazy memory there. Just at that point, it was like I think zero point 0.5 seconds, so I was happy to
Yeah.
celebrate with the time on the clock still. I was like, we're done. There's no way I'm letting
You
a
can't score the
shot from the
point
blue
five.
line in or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, like that's it. We're done. And obviously, rather take care of business and regulate, or not regulation, but like obviously in regulation, but we'd rather not have that start. But
Yeah.
you got to appreciate the lows to have a high like that.
Yeah, exactly. So then you go in your second year, you play 10 games, then you get like a even bigger opportunity coming into this year where you played 24 games already. So like
Hmm.
what has like the final 2 years of your college career been like, and how much fun you're having, like how much you trusted the process and now it's really paying off.
Yeah, so last year was pretty good start to the year. We had aspirations. Obviously, the first year wasn't the greatest with the coach situation, but kind of worked through that. And then last year we had a good team going into it. Really, we're kind of toeing the line on being in that top 25, like getting ranked again, where we were kind of expected to be the first year, just being Illinois with a good
Yeah.
program. But I ended up getting hurt last year, so only 10 games. That was probably just first semester because I had a teammate fall on my knee when we were back for like winter practices and tore my MCL. So that was the end of the season for me, unfortunately. But my goalie partner Ben did a fantastic job last year. He just rolled with it. He played every game after that, and that was his senior year as well. So he did a great job. We upset a couple teams there. I think we beat like the number 12 team at the time, and they did a great job. Obviously, I'm saying we when I wasn't like playing, but still the team did a great job. And being able to like miss time last year like was really frustrating. So like kind of having that fire burn all summer, like getting into my game beginning of this year. I've only missed 2 games and I've been feeling pretty good with the rest of them.
Yeah, and like you really have that opportunity now, like obviously coming back from the injury and everything, like a lot of fire too. It's like what has helped you like lead to that success this year? Like obviously like you're playing extremely well throughout the year. So like what has that been like in leading to that success?
Just enjoying the moment. I mean, I know it was kind of a thought that I had when I was at the Hitmen because like towards the end of my career, or not, yeah, towards the end of my junior career, I thought I was gonna get traded just from a situation. So I was like, just enjoy every day with the guys, enjoy the team, enjoy practicing with them because it could end tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I've kind of taken that team into the past 3 years, and now it's obviously coming into fruition with the senior night being about 3 weeks away now. So just really enjoying it, having fun, competing as best I can while I can, and as far as my game goes, I've really developed like a more patient game, I'd say. Like kind of letting the play come to me and then going to the play when it's kind of needed. Like being able to attack, play the puck when I can here and there, but just kind of waiting, knowing what they have to shoot at, knowing what I'm covering, just reading different options like that. I've become a lot better at seeing the plays develop before they do and kind of being able to read and react there. So that's another thing, but it's again just stacking papers on top of each other, building my game from the ground up, and it's paid off a lot this year. I'm kind of just getting into a flow.
Yeah, trust the process, like getting that flow,
Mhm.
and we're like once you're having fun and like you're really enjoying everything, like that's when everything is going really well for you and like you're having success because like when you're like thinking too much or anything like that and you're not really enjoying the moment, like that's when things just slip away. But like once you're having fun, like that's when you can enjoy everything and enjoy the highs and the lows as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the idea of like process over outcome, because if you focus on the outcome, that's something in the future that could lead to anxiety. But if you're
Yeah.
focused on the process, that's going to be more mindfulness. That's going to be just being fully invested in the moment, giving all your energy to that moment. So that'll help you overall.
Yeah, exactly. I love that philosophy and everything like that. And like I have a few more questions before we wrap this episode up. So like
Mhm.
obviously you're coming close to your college career coming to a close. Like what's the next step for you?
Yeah, so I'm going to be a physical education teacher. It was something I never thought I was going to be getting into. I remember my dad bringing it up during like my hip injury, like, "Hey, have you ever thought about teaching?" I'm like, "Teaching? I'm playing hockey as long as I can. Why am I thinking
Yeah.
about my job right now?" So, but teaching is definitely something I want to do. Give back to the sport, give back to kids in any sport overall, just kind of lead to a better future for them, anyone that's looking for a mentor trying to do that. So I've been doing that with a company called Athlete to Athlete as well. So where I do like weekly video calls and work out with them and just kind of go through like different goalies, different players, different things I can kind of give them advice here and there. Just be someone to talk to because I'm the oldest in my family. I feel like just being an older brother, being someone that like anyone can talk to and just be a shoulder to lean on is something I've kind of taken just into my personality. So I'm going to try and do that as a job, as a teacher is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and like especially like you've been through so much, you have experience in the game and like in life so far, like you're able to use those
Hmm.
experiences to help like a younger goalie, a younger athlete, whatever it is, like you're able to help them and like help them have like an easier time that maybe you wish you had like when you were growing up throughout the sport.
Yeah, exactly. Just want to be a positive influence and
Yeah.
try and help in any way I can.
Yeah, exactly. And then my last
Yeah,
question,
and then also
go for it.
oh no, I got one thing quick. Just as far as like hockey most likely coming to an end, but did mention like obviously my competitiveness is something that I want to keep in my life. So last year when I was injured, got into CrossFit a lot. I'm sure if you saw my Instagram,
Yeah.
it's kind of all over it, but it's just a fun way to compete and just going through like it's kind of you against you, but also like you can compare yourself to others if you want, which obviously in hockey, then I'm going to do that anyway. So I want to see if I can be the top of the top. So that's going to be my next competitive endeavor.
Yeah, that's the competitiveness and all of us and you like just doing something that you can compete in, like doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the CrossFit Open's what got me into it. So it's like just 3 weeks they like release the workout in like a grand way. So like it's a secret until like Thursday at noon, and then it's like, all right, let's see what everyone's got. It's gonna be done on Monday. Submit your score, see what you can do, and it's cool to see like the percentiles and where you end up.
Yeah, it's that's sick, and like it's hey, you're having fun with it too, so that's all that matters.
Exactly. And my knees have never felt better. So.
Exactly. But my last question is, what's your favorite energy drink? Like, are you C4? Like, I know you're a Celsius guy, huh?
Oh yeah, big Celsius guy. We got a few of
But
them right here actually. So
what's your favorite
just
flavor?
hanging out. Not drinking them right now. It's getting late in the night, but that was a kiwi strawberry. I really like this. This is an empty one. Don't know why I have it hanging around, but raspberry peach. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm a Celsius guy through and through. They got a ton of good flavors. I like the fizz-free ones too, but I don't want to get on my like sales pitch there because it's kind of just whenever I go through it, it's like just kind of repetitive every time I introduce someone to it when I'm working. It's like it's just what I go through every time. But no, they treat me really well, taking me on a couple trips down to Florida, so it's great.
Yeah, that's sick. The three things that I need, or the four things that I need from gas stations every road trip is my pregame Subway, my two Gator lights, and then I obviously got to have a Celsius before I get on the ice. So I'll plug
Yeah,
Celsius.
I got
Oh,
yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I actually do have it every game too. I don't like to drink it like right when I get there for warm-ups. I usually crack it open before on ice warm-ups and then drink it
yeah,
like every intermission too because it's kind of keeps me continuous flatlined. If I have 200 milligrams of caffeine like right off the bat, then there's going to be a clear crash.
yeah.
So I'm just kind of staying consistent. Caffeine's not something that I thought I'd be this into when I was going through juniors. Never really had coffee or anything, but now it's every morning a coffee and at least 2 or 3 Celsius every week.
Yeah. Hey, we that's how we keep our compete levels up and just keep the energy going throughout the day.
Yeah, it does help.
It really does. But th Nolan, thank you again for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I want to wish you the best of luck with the last couple of games coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. I appreciate it. And good luck with the rest of your season as well and keeping this podcast going. Keep it up.